So in our last class, we learned a very simple example to understand how to create a class and how to execute class also. Okay. And we seen what are the different options means while creating the class. It means, for example, if I open the last session, here in the last class, we seen what is attributes tab, what is methods tab, how to define attributes, how to define methods, and in the methods we have parameter section too. So what are the use of parameters? Everything we discussed in the last session by using a simple example on numbers. Okay. So today we are, we improving the examples to understand more concepts. Okay. So now I'm going to create a new class ZCL AN example2. Okay, na? So today, what we are going to do? Today we are going to learn set and get methods. Okay, na? So these are not any constant methods, but set why we use set and get methods. We will discuss. Okay. So now, for example, yesterday what we did when not yesterday, like in the last session when when in the example we taken two variables a b and later we perform a summation here, we performed division, like this we take a multiple examples. Okay, so now what we are doing, we are assigning a value to our attributes 10 and 20, and later we called methods to perform summation, to perform division. So initial step is assigning the attribute values, and second step is calling the methods to get the desired output. Okay. So now in the first step, what we are doing, assigning the attributes. So in the first step, whatever we are doing, this part generally, to make it a more simple way of understanding to users. Okay. Not users. So like to make it simple for as a part of modularization, whatever it may be, we create set methods. Okay, because set method means what? I will create a method called set inputs. Okay, I will create a method with name set inputs. So what it means is, in the set method, by seeing this method name itself, I can say that okay, this is used to update the attribute values. Okay, set methods. In this set methods, I will write the required code to update the attributes. Okay, and I will create one more method to get the desired output, get sum. Okay, by seeing this method name itself, it is clearly mentioning that it is used to get the summation of the in whatever values. Okay, I will create a method called get division. Okay, it means it will get the value output by performing the division operation. Get subtraction. Okay, so what is this set and get method means? It is just to make our code more readable way and to understand anyone who sees our class. Because remember, in a project we never work for a long period. Okay, so later this project will be taken over by some other people later point. At that time, if they open our class and see, try to understand it, it must be very easy way to like a more readable way. It means they can able to understand. Okay, you should write code, or you provide the naming convention in such a way that each and everything will be more transparent. Okay, I can say in that way. So set inputs itself, it is giving the meaning as okay, it is used to set the input, whatever variables are there, attributes are there. Get method is representing okay, it is used to get the output, whatever desired output. Okay, so that's why in the classes the name, if we create classes as per the functionality of the methods, means sorry, if we create the methods as per their provide the naming convention to the methods as per the functionality of the method, it will be more readable format. Okay, now we see how we can create this kind of methods in a class. So this is not a new concept, same concept what we learned on the last session, but in a more proper way of creating it. Okay, so now I am creating a class with an example, HCL an example2. So I'm going to create this class now. So I'm going to, operations. Okay, I'm not changing anything here. Click on save, local object. Okay, so what I said, first of all, I will take the same example on integers. Later, we will go to the string operations also. Okay, or else, okay, let's go instead of, this one, let's go for a different example. Already we know how to define integers. Now let's see how we can define different data types here, string data types. Okay, at underscore first name. So I am first name. Okay, of type visibility public string. So I'm going, my example is now I will set two parameters, first name, last name. Okay, I will set the first name and last name. Now I'm going to create a method, set inputs. I'm going to create a method called set inputs, and I'm going to create a get full name. So now I'm not going to provide first name and last name individually, but I'm going to set it via method and get the output also via method. So it's a very simple example, not too complex. Okay, just we are using this one, that's it. So when I am going to set inputs, it means I need to pass some inputs to this method and update our class attributes, correct? So for this reason, you have to create some import parameters to this parameter. So the name itself saying setting the attribute values. So you have to provide inputs to this method so that those values can be used to update the attributes. So go to parameter section of this method and create input, right? Parameter p underscore first name, type string, and p underscore last name of type string. By default, it is taking them as importing if I am not giving anything. If it is exporting, I need to explicitly type exporting here. Okay, so I taken two methods. I am clicking on save, going back one more step. Now get full name. So get is a method which gives our output. So go to parameter section of this method and write p underscore full name. Okay, so now in this method, I need to write a logic to get the full name of it. Okay, this is also of type string. You see, if I'm not giving anything, by default, it is considering as an importing. So now I have to type explicitly exporting because this. Okay. So you see, pass by parameter, pass by value, and optional. Okay, so optional means if you don't give anything, then it will accept. But in our case, this is output parameter, so not required. If I go to my input parameter section, I have to must and should I need to provide first name and last name. So optional checkbox shouldn't be checked, because if I check it, then these are optional. If I don't check these checkboxes, then these are mandatory inputs for this method. Okay, click on save. Now just activate once. So far I created the design template. So I created two methods. I given all the input parameters, output parameters, but now I'm going to write the code. So go to set inputs method and write here. So for this method, you are providing inputs via p underscore f name, p underscore l name. These inputs you need to assign to the attributes, right? At underscore first name is equal to p underscore l name, at underscore l name is equal to, I'm sorry, last name is equal to p underscore, this is f name, this is l name. Okay, pretty printer, check, all good. activate this method. So in this method, you just simply assigned whatever inputs you are getting via PF name, PL name, you are assigned those to the attributes of the class. Okay, go back one step, go to full name. Here, what is this? This method is for the output. So here what you need to provide, you have to send full name is nothing but the concatenation of first name and last name. So what you need to write, concatenate 80 underscore first name, 80 underscore last name into P underscore full name separated by space. Pretty printer activate. Okay, so this is the logic to get the full name, simple logic. Okay, now go back one step, try to execute this method. Okay, I am executing this method in my test environment here itself. Later I will show you how to call this method in a class. We will see. So now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to provide any answer, any update input here. I'm using only methods. Okay, I'm not directly dealing with attributes. I will call only methods. So I'm going to set inputs method, executing my set inputs method, and I need to give PL name. So PL name is equal to, for example, Srinivas. Okay, sorry, P inputs first name, P underscore first name. Okay, I'm giving as Srinivas. And P underscore L name means last name. I'm going to give my surname here, Meridi, and then go back one step. Now you are done. This is the method only to provide inputs only. When you're done with providing inputs, come back here. Okay. Now, second. Sorry, one second. We missed one step, I think. Srinivas. Go back one step, and then Meridi. Go back one step. Now you have to click on execute because this is the step where you provide inputs. But to execute this method, you need to click on execute. Then you see automatically whenever I execute this method, the attributes of the class are filled with the corresponding values. Okay, Srinivas and Medi. Now I am executing my get full name. Get full name is a method which provides the output by concatenating first name and last name. So if I click on execute here, it is only export parameter is there. You see, that's why it given direct output. There is no execute button here. Clear? Now what we are going to do is, so far we are always learning on executing this on the SC24 screen only. Now let's go to create a program and do this one. Okay, via program, how to call this class, how to provide inputs, how to get the output, everything we are going to learn now. Okay, now we are going to create a new program by going into SC38. Okay, you know already this. We go to SC38 transaction code to create any program. I am going to create a program with name ZAN underscore CL underscore program 2. So we can call classes anywhere in the ABAP. Okay, so simply by creating a program, I'm going to explain this one. Okay, test program to create to learn classes. Okay, so I'm changing it as executable program. Click on save local object. Okay, now here we are going to learn how to call a class and how to call methods, how to assign attribute values, everything we are going to learn now. Till now we executed the class from SC24 environment only. Now we are going to learn to call the classes outside. Okay, so now, so first step is you have to create object. In the starting session you learn we class is a template. Okay, to use the class we need to create object. To assign any attribute value in the class, to call the methods in a class, we need object. Correct? So now we are going to first, so that's why in our program also First, we need to create the object. So I'm going to create one object. obj1 is my first object. Okay. Type reference to. So till now, when you know about type standard table of and all, but to define an object for a class, you have to give the keyword type reference to. Okay. And after that, you need to provide the class name. So what is my class name here? My class name is ZCLAN example2. So like this you need to create. So to create an object, first of all, you need to define one object obj1 of type reference to our class. Then as a second statement, you need to write one keyword called create object. Okay. Create object is a keyword which is used to create an object. Okay. obj1. So the first line is to define the object and second line is to create the object. Okay. First line only defining, no. This is not defining, but we can call it as like a referencing. This object is referring to our class, and second line is very important. In this second line only the object creation happens. Okay. So data and then create object. So once you created the object, now what is the second step? So second step is, so these two parts are combinedly called as creating an object. So that's why I call as first step. Now second step is, now in our example, what we are going to do, we are going to call the method set inputs. Okay. So how to call a method here? So SAP given a simple functionality to call the methods of a class. Okay. Instead of writing everything manually, SAP given one simple functionality in the pattern. So in our last sessions, like you already learned how to use this call functions from this pattern. Now you are going to learn how to call a class by using this pattern. Okay. So here you need to select ABAP object patterns. Okay. Because we are going to call the method which is object oriented programming, you need to select the ABAP object patterns. Okay. Click on select. Now it will take you to another screen. Here you need to give some values. So first box is used to call the methods of an object. Okay. So instance is nothing but object. Okay. Because yeah, in OOPS, whether you can call as an object or you can call as an instance also. So here you need to give your object. Instance means object name. obj1 is my object. obj1 is my object name. Okay. And then class. So what is your class name? Your class name is ZCLAN example2 is your class name. So now which method you are going to call? So either you can type your method name, or if you go to this F4 help, what it will do, it will go to this class and get all the methods for your easy selection. You see, if I click on this F4 help, it went into this class and showing me all the methods from this class. So out of these two methods, which method I am going to call now? Set inputs. Select set inputs and click on OK. You see, now SAP is giving me a pattern to define, to call the methods. Okay. So now this is the way how to call a method. Call method object name, and then this pointer symbol and then set input. Set inputs is the method name. And this set inputs method is having two importing parameters. For the class, it is importing, but when we call in a program, the importing will be converted to exporting. So this is the same functionality like how we learn in the function modules. In function modules also we have import export tab, but when we call the function modules in a program, then importing will be displayed as exporting and exporting will be displayed as importing. Okay, so don't get confused here. So in the exporting tab, I need to provide my inputs. So my first name is, it's a string. So always provide the string in a single between the single quotes. First name is Srinivas and my last name is Merit. Okay, so remember one point here. Generally in ABAP, each and every a line will ends with this full stop, but here you are not supposed to put any full stop here, because from this call method till this full stop, this entirely defines one method calling. Okay, if you put full stop on the first line also, then it is simply like you are ending the functionality by this line itself. Okay, so when you call this method via pattern, don't change anything. So don't put any extra full stops here. So PF name, you have to provide your input on single quotes, and parameter for last name, you need to provide your inputs via in between single quotes, and at the end of the method calling, there will be only one full stop. Okay, now done. So we are, you see, if I click on check button, there are no errors so far. Okay, so via this calling this method, I am done with setting the input parameters. So what I am going to do now? Now I am going to call another method which get my full name. Okay, so go to pattern, go to app object parameters. So our system will store these parameters, in the buffer. So what you can do, simply go to method section, select the desired method, get full name, click on OK. So you see now, when you call this method, you see my importing parameter was in commented. Earlier, this PF name, PL parameter last name, these are not commented, but here it was commented. Why? What was the difference? Because for my method, these importing, like for my set inputs method, these two are mandatory inputs. That's why system not commented this, because it is telling us mandatorily provide these two inputs. But in this method, this is an output parameter, pay full name. So that's why system is telling, if it's up to your wish if you want to use this or not. Since I have to take this one. So get full name is a method which provides me output. Okay. So I need to capture the output in one of the local variable, correct? So for that reason, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one local variable, lv underscore full name type string. Okay. I defined one local variable. Now I'm going to capture my output in one local variable. That's it. Because this output parameter p underscore full name is defined in our class of type string, correct? That's why you have to also define one variable of type string and capture the output. Okay, always remember the data types must match, okay, or else it may go to dump. So now the output was captured on the this particular local variable. Now I am writing this output parameter, output variable on console. Write lv underscore full name. That's it. Click on check button. See there are no errors. Activate our program. Now click on execute. You see output Srinivas Medi came. So which is a concatenation of both my first name and last name. So now we are going to learn this by debugging, because if you learn with debugging, then you get to know how this everything is going on. So how to debug? Same way. So where you want to debug? So initially I want to debug from the methods. Okay. So on the 14th line, put one external breakpoint. Yeah. Okay. And then click on execute. So what will happen? Our execution of the program will stop at the call method. So now you see, if you double click on this obj1, it was assigned. One second, not like this. I want to go one more step back. Instead of here put the breakpoint, create object, because create object is one of the executable program. At this line only object creation is happening. Okay. Now you see, you double click on obj1. You see, initially object one was initial. It means it doesn't contain any instance. Okay. Whenever, but if you go to the, yeah, it doesn't contain any instance. Okay. So whenever you execute this create object obj1, then what system is doing? System is assigning this template template class into my object. If you double click here, you can see there are two parameters, attributes are there. Attribute first name, last name. Okay. Now, what was the next step? Call method object one hyphen something pointer set inputs. Now, what system is going to do? It is going to call the method using this object name. So, if I press F5 here, now the system will go to the definition of the set inputs method. I am pressing F5. You see, now system went to this class and the definition method name is set inputs. So what I am going to do, whatever I passed via the parameter first name and last name, these will be assigned to my attributes. Till now my attributes are not yet assigned with any value. So when these lines got executed, attributes got assigned with some values. So once it is done with execution of this method, the cursor will return back to our class. You see, it again came to our program. Okay. Now what it is going to do, now I am going to call my get full name method. So when I press F5, the cursor will goes to the class again. So you see, it went to the class. Now in the class get full name method, we written a statement called concatenation statement. So this is using attributes of the class. So till now my param p underscore full name doesn't have any value. By executing it, I am updating my parameter with the output. So when I press F5, now cursor comes again back to my program. So by this time, LV full name is having, I already captured the output of my above method in this local variable. Now I am writing this variable on the output screen. That's it. So this is how to call a method and how to assign, how to create an object for a class and how to call methods from a program. Now the next concept. What is the next concept? In the first class, I said each object is independent, correct? So in my first class, I defined class definition is like a template definition. Okay. And we create objects. We create multiple objects. We can create, not we create, but we can create multiple objects, based upon out of this class. And each object is independent. So now I created object obj1. Okay. I created first object obj1. Okay. Now what I am going to do, sorry, second, obj1. Now I am going to create one more object, object2. Okay. So in this class, I have two attributes, at underscore first name, at underscore last name. I'm writing simple words, huh? And two methods I defined. What is the method? Set underscore inputs, get underscore full name, right? So when I create an object, what will happen? All these will be again available. No, attributes. All these attributes will be available in my here, again here. Correct. So I created an object one, and by setting the inputs to this object one, my first name was assigned to here and my last name was assigned to here. Okay. So only the values got updated on object one. So now if I create an object two, again object two is independent. So these two are blank. You can assign a different, different values to here. For example, any, okay, I don't know what is this one example, how to create it. What example I need to take? Yeah. Yeah. Militia. Okay. Militia. So I'm going to give Militia here and last name is again Mili. So I can give like this. So these object values are independent. This is independent to object one. Okay. Like this, you can define n number of objects and assign its own values. Okay. All these are independent. Now I will tell you how to create one more extra object here, okay, in a program. Because in real time, you may need to create multiple objects to store different instances, okay. So that's the reason I'm going to teach this one also. So till now, you learned about how to create an object. For example, if you have a requirement to create one more object, then simply what you can do, you can simply write one more line, create object obj2. That's it. Again, no need to create this data. Why? Because you, oh, sorry, data also you have to create, because first of all, you need to, map this one, right? Type reference to this class name. Okay. And then you need to create this one. Go to pretty printer, click on check button. You see, there are no errors. So you created two objects now. For every object creation, you need to write the corresponding data type reference to also. Okay. Because in the type reference to, it is setting, it is when you create object, it will go to this line and it will create an object for this class. These two are always interlinked. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call one more after this set inputs method. Now I want to update one more, here. So I will go to pattern again, or else, simply instead of doing all this one, I can copy this method. I can paste one more time, but only change what is the other change. Here I am going to change object to. Instead of calling this set inputs method via using object one, now I am going to call the set inputs method via object two. So what will happen, and in the object two, whatever, values I pass, I will store here. So here I am going to store militia name. Okay. Now I created two different objects and I updated two different values on separate values. Now what I'm going to do, first f underscore full name one is, underscore one is one local variable. I'm going to create a one more local variable fv underscore full underscore name underscore two, type string. So via object one, if I am calling the get full name method and I am storing my output in a local variable underscore one, again I am calling the same method by using object two as a, reference and storing the output under lv underscore full name two. Okay. Now write both outputs on the console. Write lv underscore full name two. Okay. Since I am writing two different write statements, better to give here new line character so that the second output will come on a new line. Now click on check button. Yeah, there is one error, period missing. Yeah, here. Activate, execute. You see? So first method is having Srinivas Medi, second method is giving output of Marisha Medi. Okay. Now let's go to debugging mode. Okay. Let's put one breakpoint at 17th line. Click on execute. Okay. Now I have two objects. You see, object one, object two. So in the first method, what will happen? So if you want to execute this method in single step, instead of going into the method, you can type F6. F6 will execute the method whole in one step, one go. Okay. Instead of going, F5 means will take you into the definition of the method. If you don't want to go to the definition of the method in the debugging mode, then simply press F6. I pressed F6. Now I'm going to object one. Okay. In the object one, you see the first name was updated as Srinivas, last name was updated as Maitri. Okay. If I go to object two, you see in the object two, nothing was assigned because I didn't call the set methods of object two yet. That's why object two, the attributes are still unassigned or initial, I can say. Okay. Now I'm going to call set inputs of method of a class object object two. I'm pressing F6 here. Now you see I am going to object two. Now you see the first name and last name was updated with the latest values. Melisha made. Now I am F6 two more times. So my LV full name got the since I am calling this using object one, the full name was defined as Srinivas Meridi, and since I am calling the second method by using object two, this was updated with the output Manish. Okay, I am writing both on the output screen. That's it. So this is how to create multiple objects for a class. Okay, this is a very simple basic example which which is used to understand how to create different set methods, get methods. Okay, and how to call these classes in a program. So if you know this, how to create an object, how to call a method in a class, if you want to say call this class in transformation, in BW transformation, same way we call. There is no change in the definition of the, in creating of the objects or calling the methods. Everywhere in the ABAP, we use the same kind of syntaxes. Okay, that's it. So far what we covered? So we covered set and get methods. Okay, what we can call how to create set and get methods, then how to call a class in a program. So how to call a class or how to use a class in a program, what anyway, or use a class in a program. Okay, so this is what today we learn. So one second. Now what we're going to do is let's take one assignment, okay, on this topic. Okay, so create a class with name ZCL underscore AN underscore. Okay, arithmetic operations. Okay, so create a class with this name. Create a class ZCL AN arithmetic operations. Okay, now second step. In this class, create two attributes, AT underscore A, AT underscore B of type integer. Okay, so you are going to create two attributes, and all these are public only, all comes under public only. So third step is create a method, create a set method, set underscore create a set method to update the attributes ATA. Create a set method, set underscore inputs is the set method name. Okay, with two importing parameters. So which is similar to our today's example, but we are performing arithmetic operations. Today we in our class example we learned on strings. That's it. Okay, with two importing parameters p underscore a and p underscore b. So let me finish this point here. On the fourth point, update write a logic. Write logic to update the attributes AT underscore A and AT underscore B with the importing parameter values. Okay, now write a logic. So you need to write the assignment operator to update these two attributes by using the importing parameter values. Okay, so this is one part. So the next part is create a get method. Name is get sum. Okay, to get the sum of the integers. So because a and b are integers here, right? Some of the integers. Okay. Now create one more get method. Create a get method to get get some multiplication. Okay. To get the multiple of the integers or multiplication result of the integers. So now create one more get method. Get method, get underscore subtraction. Division, let's take division. Okay, to get the division output A by B. Okay, of the integers. So write these three get methods for this class. Okay, now on the next step is create a program to call the above class and call all the methods one by one and print the outputs on output screen. So how I call the get method and return the output on the console, in the same way, you are also have to create you need to call all the methods and write the output on the console in this way. Okay, so this is the assignment for today's class. Okay, if you are able to complete this assignment, then you have clear understanding of how to define input set methods, get methods, how to call the program on a class on a sorry, how to call the classes or use the classes on the program also. Okay, this is a very simple basic example just to get familiarity with the classes. Okay, so whenever you are able to complete these assignments and able to understand these topics, then in the coming sessions we are going to learn in depth of it. So today I teach with you the string type. So now in the next session, we are going to learn how to define a custom data type. For example, of type character 6 length 9 string. Till now we seen string and integer only. But if you want to define custom data types also, how to use? We use types tab for this one, and how to create a variable attribute or a parameter, importing or exporting parameter with table format. Okay, those also we are going to learn in the next session. Okay, so it will be more interesting, and the topic also will get little complex in the going sessions because we need to learn each and all the topics of classes. Okay, that's it. Closing for today. Stopping recording.